Hey guys, we've had a few requests on how we've set up our ute for touring, so we thought we'd do a rig rundown and show exactly how we've set up our Hilux for touring Oz. Hope you enjoy it. So the ute's a 2017 model Toyota Hilux SR. I bought the ute in 2018. At the time the ute was only 6 months old and had 29,000 Ks. It was an ex-government ute, so it was virtually brand new and got it for a really good price. The reason I went with the SR over the SR5 is I didn't really need all the bells and whistles like the electric folding mirrors, the alloy wheels, the leather seats, the sat-nav. The SR still has rear diff lock and all the same running gear and all the same off-road capabilities, so I'd rather put that money that you would otherwise spend on the SR5 into mods setting up this ute for touring. Right, so starting up the front, we've got the Ironman Commercial Deluxe Bull Bar. I went with the Ironman just because I really like the look of it for starters, and I also like the fact that it was a direct bumper replacement, so no cutting of the standard bumper. And I fitted that up myself as well. Behind the bull bar we've got the Dominator Extreme winch from Kings. It's been really good. It saved my bacon a few times on our trip. We've also got the Kings bodies. They're only cheap, but they work quite well as well. Underneath the bull bar we've got the Ironman, the rated recovery points. So I fitted them when I fitted the bull bar. Also just got a 5 dBi aerial. I'm looking at getting a new one soon. It's starting to crackle out a little bit. So front suspension, I've got the Dobinson's monotube 2 to 3 inch adjustable front struts. They're just set at 2 inch with the heavy duty spring to support the weight of the bull bar. And then I've got the Safari V-Spec snorkel that fitted myself as well. So under the bonnet we're running the air on board diff breather kit just to help with water ingress into the transfer gearbox and diffs. For the rims and tyres, I've got just a set of 17x8 zero offset, just black steel sun raisers. I thought they looked pretty good and they fit really well with the guard, so they're quite flush. And then I've just got the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws. Thought I'd try them for this trip. They've been really well. They've worn really well. Been good, like a good all-rounder. They don't do so well in the mud, but I think that's probably the case for most all-terrains. They just don't have super wide gaps in between the tread blocks. So just to protect the sill and the side of the ute when we're forward driving, I made these set of angled rock sliders for the ute. I've only fallen into one sort of deep rut where they've hit and they haven't budged. You can also use a high lift jack on them too, which is good. So for the rear suspension, I bought a set of second-hand Old Man Emu 300 kilo constant load leafs. They are a little bit undersprung. I probably really need a 400 kilo leaf pack. I've got Boss Air airbags in the back too, just to help with that load. And it's really handy with, I didn't want to have to go a 500 kilo leaf pack, say, and then take the canopy off and it ride really rough. So with the airbags, I can let all the air out and it rides really well just with the tray and no canopy on it. So on the roof, I'm just running the Rhino rack crossbars. I've got the shovel holder on there, the high lift jack holder, exit tracks on the roof, and then just got a 160 watt solar panel on there that charges our battery while we're parked up in the sun. The most I've seen it put out in full sun was 10 amps. I've only seen that a couple of times. On average, usually it'll put in between 4 and 7 amps, depending on the angle to the sun and everything like that. But it's worked well and kept our battery charged for us. On the roof racks on this side, just running the June 2x2 metre awning from Anaconda. For the price, it's worked really well. It's actually quite good quality. And on the roof, our old Kings rooftop tent, we've had it for about 3 years now. It's been really good. So I think all up, when I bought that, I only paid like $690, including the annex as well, which we don't really use. I think we used it once on our lap. So I think next time around, I probably wouldn't bring it if I was to go again with this tent. but it's held up really well. The cover's buggered, it needs a new cover and new straps, but the actual tent itself still in really good nick, and it served us really well. So another thing we get asked a lot is how we've mounted our rooftop tent to the canopy. So the way I've done it is just drilled through the top of the canopy and dropped the bolts down the holes. I've then got a rubber washer to stop any water, a metal washer and a nylock nut. But so it's not pulling from these welds on the top skin, I've added the clamps it came with too, so it's clamped around the reinforcement as well. So now for the fun part of the build, the tray and canopy. My whole philosophy with the build was to try and keep the weight down, which is why I went all alloy on the back. So the tray I got from a wrecker for 900 bucks. It was an old O'Brien's tray body tray. I think it was actually off a single cab, because when I took off the standard taillight surrounds, I could see that the chassis had been cut and the filler neck was right in the middle of this rope rail, which obviously on dual cab utes it's usually right at the front. So I had to make a new rope rail for this side. So I made my own mud guards for the tray. I also, if you come around the back here, I made my own taillight surrounds, bent them up out of 2.5mm aluminium as well. I put a trundle in there. I put a 1400mm trundle from Tools in a Box. I cut the face off it that it came with, because it just had one big sort of T-latch in the middle, and I made a new face for it to match the profile of the taillight surrounds I made, and just put two latches either side so the number plate goes in the middle. In here I store fishing rods, the gas cooker, solar blanket, rattle gun, drill, bucket, all that sort of stuff. And it's good because it's got a nice big rubber seal, keeps all the dust and the water out. On either side I've just got the number plate lights, and they shine through a little hole that I've cut out on the side of the taillight surrounds there. So Elle and myself have partnered with AP Boxes for our lap of Oz. We paid full price for our canopy when we bought it, but they were kind enough to gift us these 900 tapered underbody boxes to put them through their paces around Oz, and they've held up excellent. Not one crack in the welds of the canopy or the underbody boxes. They've kept the water and dust out extremely well, and yeah, just can't rate them enough, guys. So if you are in the market for canopy or underbody boxes, check these guys out, because their gear is quality and it won't break the bank. Some of the main features of the canopy: it has whale tail locks from standard, heavy duty rubber seals in the opening of the doors, reinforcements on the walls, under the floor and on the roof, making it plenty strong enough to have your tent mounted up on top there, and even sleep in it while it's on its legs, which we've done before. And the main feature, being a jack-off canopy, you can easily lift it off the back of the ute and have your ute tray free again. So the kitchen side of the canopy. So on the left there, we've got the Bushman 85 litre upright fridge. The reason we went with that is, back to our philosophy of saving weight, we cut out the need to have a fridge slide. So those fridge slides can be pretty heavy, and then also pretty pricey too. So if you have to pay for a bigger fridge and a fridge slide, it was cheaper for us, and it made more sense to go with the upright fridge. So it's been awesome on our trip. It's very efficient. We love the fact that it's got a freezer in there as well, and you can stack a lot of gear in there if you pack it correctly. For this side, I made a slide out drawer and table. It's been so handy. We keep pots, pans, the kettle, the toaster. We even fit the camp oven in there, and it's got the 90 kilo rated locking drawer slides from Bunnings. So another nifty storage solution we've added is I've made a chopping board cover for underneath the slide out table. So they live under there, easy to get to. So above the slide out drawing table is our pantry. So we've just got these plastic storage drawers from Big W. I pop riveted on these fly screen swivel clips that we put in front of the drawers to stop them from opening up. And they've worked really well. So you can actually pull the drawer right out. And so this top one, we just keep cooking gear and cleaning gear, that sort of stuff. Down the bottom is our tea, coffee and herb, spices, all that sort of stuff. Bottom one is breakfast stuff, snacks, all that sort of stuff. And the top is more like our dinners and cooking and all that sort of gear. So they haven't budged either. They've held up really well. They're just riveted to this top lip of the drawer, and then they've just Sikaflexed them together, and they don't move around or do anything. So I've made the top of the slide out drawing table a little bit wider so I could fit our coffee machine down the side. And there's also still room down the side that we can store other gear, like our collapsible sink and drying rack and things like that. You'll also notice that we don't have a false floor. That was another thing we didn't put in to save weight, And we also like it because we can fit things under the slide-out drawing table in the fridge. So this side we got our cutlery. It works really well because it can't come up and things don't bounce out or come out. You still can pull it out if you want to. So that's really handy under there. And then under this side we just keep our foil, glad wrap and oven trays and that sort of thing. So beside the fridge I made these storage pockets that on the top I just keep lighter and things like that, and down the side to keep our plates. So I just slip down the side there, out of the way. So the way we've mounted our canopy to the tray is by these latches that I've made here. We chose to clamp it down rather than bolt it down because on weekends we take it off to use the tray for our dirt bikes or go onto the tip and things like that. It's just quicker and easier to unclamp it and clamp it back down rather than lining the bolt holes up. It's so secure, it hasn't budged at all, even over the rough roads we've been on. So yeah, that's worked really well. So the way we've set up the back wall of our canopy, I've got my old BF Goodrich spare just resting on the tray and made the spare wheel carrier, just clamped to the back wall of the canopy, doesn't move at all. Got our dirty gear bag on there. In this side we keep like our washing detergent, things like that, pegs, keep bin bag in there, rubbish, and then this side we keep like the bin bags and the dog's bowls. We've got our 4.5 kilo gas bottle in the middle, and then made a jerry can holder for this side to suit a 20 litre Pro Quick jerry can. So this side of the canopy is our storage side of the canopy. So in here we've got our table, we've got our camp chairs, our stool. I also made this shelf to store our clothes. So I think it's something that's overlooked on setting up your canopy and you know, your storage is where you're going to put your clothes. So we decided to go with these clear top canvas bags. We've got 4 each. You can fit a heap in there and it forces you to pack neatly as well. So that's worked extremely well for us. Up the top we've just got a bungee cord that we hang our towels on in front here. We've got our shower tent.
So our shower tent is the Speedy Deluxe Ensuite by Explore Planet Earth. We really like this one because it's got the removable floor in one side and it's quick to set up and super stable in the wind. And our hot water shower is the Companion AquaCube Logic Lithium.
We've got a mesh floor up the back, and we've got our little 12 volt road chef oven. It's been so handy. We've cooked like pies on the road. We freeze chicken tenders in the freezer of the fridge, put them in while we're driving and make chicken tender wraps. We've made Anzac biscuits, potato bake. I've made heaps of stuff in there. It's been so handy, and we're really glad we put that in. So I made these control panels as well. I just laser cut this black acrylic and put all the switches in, wired it all in from the back. I've got the hardcore battery monitor at the top there running through a shunt, so it gives me an accurate reading of where the lithium's at. I've got 2 Andersons here. This one I run the road chef off. And on this side of the canopy I've made these carpeted pockets as well. These are just a spot to charge our phone so you don't have things flying around the canopy when you're driving. Charge a drone in there, and they're just a handy spot to keep our charger cords and all that sort of stuff as well. With the battery, I went with the iTech World 120 amp lithium. It's been the best addition to this setup, I think. It's just worked flawlessly. We run the inverter every day. We make coffee and toast in the morning, run the vacuum sealer, charge a laptop, all that sort of stuff, and it just has worked so well. So there's no way I'd ever go back to an AGM or a flooded lead acid battery after owning lithium.
So to keep that battery charged, we've got the iTech BC-DC 25 amp charger with solar input.
A 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter from Jaycar, just a PowerTech one. It's worked really well, and I've also wired up these double pole power points either side of the canopy. So rather than reaching in and turning the power point on from both sides, got a remote switch on the other side, and using it on this side we can just reach in, turn the inverter on, and it's just easier to plug them into here than it is to plug them in at the top of the inverter. The lighting, we went with the hardcore orange white dimmable lights. We've got them hardwired in to both sides of the canopy and put a switch on the other side of the control box so we can operate it from the kitchen side as well. And having orange lights, super handy at night when you're cooking to reduce those bugs. They do help. Some spots they don't. The bugs are just immune to it, I think. Either orange or white, they still swarm, but more often than not, the orange definitely reduces how much the bugs are attracted to it. So on the inside we've got the N80 80S UHF. It's been really good. I just got to update my aerial now. And in the back we've just got a backseat hammock from Kmart for the dogs. They chill on that while we're driving.
For our water storage, we have the 85 litre hanging water bladder by FlexiMate. So on the N80 you can't fold the back of the seats forward, so it's a great use of otherwise dead space. And to fill it, we just screw on the tap fitting on the filler neck and plug your regular drinking water hose in.
Righto, so that pretty much brings us to the end of this video. Hope we've covered everything. If there's something we missed, please message us on our Facebook or Instagram, Joss and Elle. You can ask us there. We've also got highlight reels set up on our Instagram of all the different parts we've made for the ute, so you can check that out. Hope it's given you a few ideas on setting up your own ute for touring, and we'll catch you in another video. Thanks guys.